Now let us focus on how to do flow shop scheduling. As I said before, in case of flow shop scheduling, I'll be having m independent missions, okay, and in the queue there will be n independent jobs. So my objective here is to determine in what order the jobs has to be loaded into the mission. Okay, and one important difference between flow shop scheduling and single shop scheduling is there will be m independent missions and all the jobs will be having same missioning sequence. Okay, so that is the job 1, it will first be processed in mission 1 followed by 2 and 3. Similarly, job 2 will be first processed in mission 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so in addition to finding out the optimal sequence of the jobs, okay, to maximize certain performance measure, we also have to find out the sequence that will minimize the idle time of each missions. Okay, that is when job 1 is being processed in mission 1, okay, the mission 2 and mission 3 will remain idle, because without getting processed in mission 1, job 1 cannot move to job 2. Okay, till job 1 gets processed in mission 1, the mission 2 and 3 will remain idle. Okay, once job 1 gets completed in mission 1, it will move to mission 2. Okay, then the next job, that is job 2, that will enter the mission 1 and it will be getting processed. Okay, meanwhile simultaneously job 1 will be processed in mission 2. Simultaneously mission 3 will remain idle, because only when the missioning sequence in 1 and 2 is completed, the job 1 can enter the third mission. Okay, so in case of flow shop scheduling, the idle time of the missions is an important parameter that has to be considered. Okay, so in order to do flow shop scheduling, we have a Johnson's algorithm. So this algorithm is proposed for n different jobs, but only for 2 mission problems. Okay, and our objective here is to minimize the make span time. So we'll see what are the steps involved here in Johnson's algorithm. The step 1 is out of these 2 missions, we have to find out which job is having the minimum processing time. Okay, in both the missions, let me repeat, in both the missions, out of the n jobs, which is having the minimum processing time. Okay, then if the minimum processing time occurs in mission 1, then assign the job to the start of the sequence. Say for example, start of the sequence, I am assigning job A. Okay, if the minimum processing time corresponds to the mission 2, then assign that job to the last available position in the sequence. Okay, once you complete the assignment operation, you delete that particular job. Okay, so continue this process till all the jobs are being scheduled. Okay, we'll see in detail with an example, then it will be more clear. Right, so consider 2 missions, so mission 1 and mission 2, and there are 6 jobs. Okay, 6 jobs. We have to use Johnson's algorithm to determine the optimal sequence to minimize the make span time. Then we have to construct a Gantt chart. Okay, I will tell you what is a Gantt chart, and we have to determine the corresponding make span. So we have 6 particular jobs. Okay, so draw 6 straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now step 1. Out of these 2 missions, find out which particular job is having the minimum processing time. Okay, so the minimum processing time is 4. Okay, so the minimum processing time corresponds to job 1. Right, now I am going to allocate the job 1 in this sequence. Okay, so where should I allocate? Now check out where the minimum processing time is occurring. If the minimum processing time is in mission 1, allocate the corresponding job to the start of the sequence. Okay, so I have determined the minimum processing time. So 4 is the minimum processing time out of these 2 columns. Okay, and this minimum processing time corresponds to job 1. So I'm going to allocate the job 1 in the sequence. Okay. So I have to determine whether I have to allocate to the start of the sequence or the end of the sequence. Okay. Check out where the minimum processing time is available. So it's in mission 1. So if it's in mission 1, allocate to the start of the sequence. Okay. Then delete this particular job. Now check out the next minimum processing time. Okay. So you have deleted this. Don't go for 6. Okay. So the next minimum processing time is 6. Okay. It corresponds to job 5. Now I have to allocate job 5. Now I have to check whether it should be allotted to the start of the sequence or end of the sequence. See where this minimum processing time is. It's in mission 2. If the minimum processing time is in mission 2, allocate the corresponding job to the last available position in the sequence. So allotted in the last available position. Strike out the job. Right? Now check it for the next minimum processing time. Okay? The next minimum processing time is 8. There are 2 8s. Right? You can choose any one randomly. Okay? So I'm going with the job 4. You can break the time randomly. Okay? You can either choose 4 or 6. Let me choose 4. So now I need to allocate this job 4 to the sequence. So I have to determine whether it should be in the start or end of the sequence. So check out the mission. It's in mission 1. So I'm going to allocate it in the start of the sequence. Strike out the job. Okay. So the next minimum time is obviously in the next 8. It is available in mission 2. Okay. So I'll be allocating the job 6 to the last available position in the sequence. Right. Then find out the next minimum processing time, that is 10. There are 2 10s. You can randomly choose any one. Okay, let me choose this 10 first. So that is job 3. So it's available in mission 2. So I'm going to allocate in the last available position. Strike that out. The next minimum value is 10. It's available in mission 1, the first available position. So this is the sequence in which I'm going to process my jobs. Okay. So what I'm actually doing is, there are totally 6 jobs. So first draw 6 straight lines. Okay. Then check out in these 2 columns which is having a minimum processing time. Choose that particular job. You're going to allocate that job in the sequence. Okay. It should be either in the start of the sequence or at the end of the sequence. Check out where the minimum processing time is, whether it's in mission 1 or mission 2. If it's in mission 1, allocate to the start of the sequence. If it's in mission 2, allocate in the end of the sequence. Okay. After that, strike out the particular job and repeat the process again till there is no more jobs to be scheduled. Okay. So this is the sequence. Once I have determined the sequence, next I have to find out what is my makespan time. Okay. So for that, I am going to determine what is the start time and what is the finish time of each particular job. That is, at what time it is going to enter mission 1 and what time it is going to come out of mission 1. Similarly, mission 2 and mission. Okay. So I am going to write the order in which I have determined, that is 1, 4, 2, 3, 6, 5. Okay. So as you can see, the processing time of job 1 in mission 1 is 4. Okay. So it enters in the 4th minute. It enters in the 0th minute and it comes out of the 4th minute, because the processing time of job 1 in mission 1 is 4. Okay. Next, job 4 enters mission 1. Okay. So at the end of the 4th minute, job 4 enters. And the processing time of job 4 in mission 1 is 8. So 4 plus 8 is 12. So at the end of 12th minute, job 4 comes out of mission 1. So mission 1 becomes free at the end of 12th minute. So at the end of the 12th minute, next job will enter mission 1. Okay. So what is the processing time of job 2 in mission 1? 10. Okay. So it enters at 12th minute. It takes 10 minutes to process. It comes out of at 22nd minute. So the next job will enter the mission 1 at the end of the 22nd mission. So job 3, Job 3 takes 14 minutes to be processed in mission 1. So 22 plus 14, that will give you 36. Okay, same way you process for the remaining 2 jobs. So totally it takes 70 minutes for all these 6 jobs to be processed in mission 1. Okay, so once you find out the processing time in mission 1, move on to next mission, that is mission 2. Okay, this is mission 1. And this is mission 2. Okay, so the job 1 has completed its process at the end of 4th minute from mission 1. So at the end of the 4th minute, it enters the mission 2, right? So next we have to find out what is the processing time of job 1 in mission 2. So it takes 6 minutes to be processed. So 4 plus 6 is 10. So at the end of 10th minute, the job 1 comes out of mission 2. Okay. But the next job, that is the job 4, it is free or it is available to enter mission 2 only at the end of 12th minute. Okay. So job 4 is getting processed in mission 1 until 12 minutes. Okay. Even though the mission 2 is free at the end of 10th minute, the next job is available only at the 12th minute. So you have to compare these two times and you have to write out which is maximum. Okay. So the time in on mission 2 is maximum of the time out of the current job. So time out of the current job is 10 minutes, comma, the time out of the previous job in mission 1, that is 12 minutes. So you have to find out which is maximum in these two and write as here. So at the end of the 12th minute, job 4 enters mission 2. Okay, let us see what is the processing time of job 4 in mission 2, 12. So 12 plus 12, 24. So at the end of the 24th minute, the job 4 comes out of mission 2. Okay, so the mission 2 is free at the end of 24th minute, and the next job, that is job 2, it is available at the end of 22nd mission. So write down which is maximum. That is, this is the completion time of the current job, and this is the completion time of the previous job. So whichever is maximum, write it down here, 24. Okay, so job 2 takes 12 minutes to be processed in mission 2. So 24 plus 12 gives you 36. Okay, now at the end of the 36th minute, the job 2 is completed. So mission 2 is free at the end of 36th minute. Okay, and at the end of 36th minute, the next job, that is job 3, is also available after being processed in mission 1. So these two are same, so I am writing 36. And the job 3, it takes 10 minutes to be processed in mission 2. So 36 plus 10, 46. Okay, so at the end of the 46th minute, mission 2 is free, but the next job, that is job 6, it is available to be processed only at the end of 52 minutes, because only at the end of the 52nd minute is coming out of mission 1. So maximum of these two, that is 52. Okay, so if I find out total completion time, that is 76 minutes. So it takes 76 minutes for this 6 jobs to be processed in mission 1 and mission 2, including the idle time. Okay, let us now find out the idle time on mission 2, because mission 1 is continuously being processed. There is no idle time on mission 1 because the job is continuously being processed in mission 1. In case of mission 2, there will be idle time. Okay, let us check it out. So the mission 2 is available for processing at the end of 10th minute, but the next job enters only at the end of 12th minute. So for first 2 minutes, it is getting idle. So 2 minutes it's been idle. Okay. Moreover, if you check out here, for first 4 minutes, the job 1 is being processed in mission 1. So that first 4th minute, the mission 2 will be idle. Okay. Next, if you check it out, the mission 2 is released at the end of 36th minute. So